We blew up last month. I could hardly believe it. Right after the Death Note video, the subs just came rolling in, and we quickly went from just under 3,000 to over 5,000. So this is the Tales of Atonement 5,000 sub special. But why is it Deadpool? Well, for one thing, Bree and I watched the Deadpool and Wolverine movie recently, and then Andrew got into it. Bree started visiting the Deadpool stream on TikTok, and that got us a lot of attention.
Well, I was just kind of like wandering around on Twitch and stuff, and he just kind of popped up. It was a lot of fun. He's got the whole Deadpool vibe. He definitely looks like it with an extremely convincing costume. He's also got the voice pretty on and the general attitude, just really throwing it out of the park. Even does, like, I guess it was like an interview or something. I'll even throw up a picture. There was him with what I'm pretty sure is one of the actors from the movie. He played Peter. I think his name was Peter. He was that other guy, the everyman. He has little, like, those little, I don't know, they're like little face-off things, and he usually wins. He's a really nice guy, and he has like huge giveaways and stuff, and he donates. A lot of his proceeds go to charity that the people there choose, and just, it's a lot of really cool stuff. Great vibes. And yeah, so I was on, and long story made really short, I made a couple commentaries, and I was actually quite surprised he even noticed me in this big room full of people talking. And I made mention of our channel, and over the course of a few days, he pretty much called us out and was like, no, it's cool, and yeah, I'm really excited, and I like it, and I like what you guys are showing off, and everybody better go and watch, and just kind of being really cool people and backing us up. And we ended up going up like, I don't know, like 2,000 viewers over the course of a week, subscribers. It was actually pretty unreal.
So after that, Andrew decided he wanted to do a Deadpool guys for Sawen, and here we are. But what actually made you want to sit down and talk this time, Andrew?
Well, this will only be my third picture on the channel, right? And I'm not even part of the story yet. With all this attention, I figured it might be fun to make myself known. So hey, chat, I'm Andrew. Dampier, time traveler, vampire slayer.
Not to mention Agni's brother.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, we both have the same kind of red hair after all. Which, is that why you opted out of the whole Deadpool hood, Andrew?
Exactly. My hair is the first thing people remember me by. That's the whole reason Atonement knows the Crimson Slayer. It's not the huge black wings or my signature scarf. It's the hair. Besides, if I covered up my whole head, that'd just be like Deadpool with wings.
Right, well, but what about the mask? That looks more like Nightwing. Like you look like a Nightwing cosplaying as Deadpool.
Admittedly, that was left over from the Bat family guys that I did. What's 2 years ago now? Like, I want to say that the animated Batman series got in just under the wire of the apocalypse, for people like us to appreciate Kevin Conroy in that role. We even have the same birthday, November 30th.
You also do the whole vigilante thing in Atonement. Vampire slaying, people compare you to Batman a lot because of that.
Yeah, and that's a bit different though. Vampires are the upper class in Atonement. They're the oppressors. A lot of Batman's villains are victims of an upper class society, even ones like Penguin. Just like me and you, Bruce Wayne was still born into a really privileged position, Agni. But if you're not using your privilege to try and help those up who aren't as privileged, then that's a waste of your power and platform.
It's also part of your nature to hunt vampires, isn't it? As a Dampier?
It is. You know what, though? That's why I loved seeing Blade in that movie. Like, time travel, vampire slayers, and a shockingly ridiculous amount of gore. Sums up a pretty normal evening for me.
Yeah, time travel. What did you think of that whole, perfect timeline with all the other spirals going off?
Well, putting this into Deadpool terms, You might consider people like me and Martin to be anchor beings. But even then, there's some universes where I don't exist, or my role is filled by somebody completely different like Tessa or Alwyn. Usually, the death of an anchor being is the end of a timeline, but not necessarily all timelines associated with it. I guess that's how our world differs from the one in Deadpool.
So is there anything the Deadpool movie gets wrong about time travel?
That's complicated.
You mean convoluted?
Of course. Time magic is about messing with physics and gravity and making it do stuff it's not meant to do. Probably one of the best known time travelers was from H.G. Wells' book. He's actually the guy who coined the term time machine, you know? But that's not all. Hindu was a time traveler too, Agni.
Are you talking about King Raivata Kakudmi? He traveled to the heavens to meet Brahma, and when he returned to Earth, several ages had passed. That's because according to the Payasi Sutta, time passes differently in heaven than it does on Earth.
Then there's the 7 keepers. Whoops, I mean 7 sleepers. Man, Christianity really does a number on all these old myths.
Wait, I know about the keepers, but what are the sleepers?
So the 7 sleepers are apparently 7 people who were sealed in a cave for being monotheistic during the pagan rule of Rome. They slept for 200 years while Christianity was persecuted in Rome and woke back up after it had become the state religion. But if you take into account what we know about the 7 keepers in our world, there's something to be said about the comparison and how we know the keepers were once older gods whose souls were captured and enslaved by Yahweh.
So you have been listening to Onyx, Agni.
Getting back to the topic of time travel, though, I've been doing my own looking into this, so you tell me what you think about this, Andrew. The earliest depictions of time travel are actually uncertain. The year 2440, a dream if ever there was one. The main character is transported through time due to supernatural means. It was written in 1770 by a French author, Louis Sebastien Mercier. Did I get that right, Brie? Rip Van Winkle is a well-known folktale about a man who sleeps for 100 years, written in 1819 by Washington Irving. Looking Backward by Edward Bellamy in 1888, and When the Sleeper Awakes in 1899. Another story by Wells. All of those stories have to do with prolonged sleep being the case for time travel. Why is that?
Parasomnia. Sleep paralysis can feel like time travel, and oftentimes we, time travelers, work best when people are generally regarded as being asleep. Void magic is strongest during the witching hour. That's exactly 3 a.m. Have either of you ever read Ray Bradbury? Not Fahrenheit 451, but Something Wicked This Way Comes. Midnight's not bad. You wake and go back to sleep. 1 or 2's not bad. You toss but sleep again. 5 or 6 in the morning, there's hope, for dawn's just under the horizon. But 3, now Christ, 3 a.m.? Doctors say the body's at low tide then. The soul is out. The blood moves slow. You're the nearest to dead you'll ever be, save dying. Sleep is a patch of death. But 3 in the morn, full, wide-eyed staring, is living death. You dream with your eyes open. God, if you had strength to rouse up, you'd slaughter your half-dreams with buckshot. But no, you lie pinned to a deep well bottom that's burned dry. The moon rolls by to look at you down there with its idiot face. It's a long way back to sunset, a far way on to dawn, so you summon all the fool things of your life. The stupid, lovely things done with people known so very well, who are now so very dead. And wasn't it true, had you read somewhere? More people in hospitals die at 3 a.m. than at any other time.
Wait, is that true? Whoa, there have actually been a lot of studies about circadian rhythms and deaths according to cardiologists. Those peak hours seem to be anywhere between midnight and 6 a.m., with 3 a.m. being right in the middle, and between noon and 6 p.m. According to biblical sources, this is also supposedly the time of day that Yeshua passed away. Anyway, moving along. What about mirrors? You've used mirrors to time travel and even jump dimensions. That concept goes back to a story written all the way back in 1640 as a supplement to the Journey of the West. Sun Wukong travels to the Qing dynasty to retrieve a magical bell, and then to the Song dynasty to find an emperor that was exiled there.
It's hard to count that one as an actual story about time travel, though, because the entire thing is actually an illusion. Even in the story, Wukong is trapped in a dream world where all that's taking place.
Honestly, there's so many concepts and philosophies around time travel, we could probably make a whole series of videos on them, with each one covering a different aspect. And it's probably the only way we do it all justice. But did you guys know the Deadpool and Wolverine movie actually broke a ton of rules that Marvel previously established about how its own system of time travel works?
What does it all mean, Acne?
This is according to an article in Superhero Hype by Vansh Mehra. Why don't I read these off, and Andrew, you give us a short response on how it all works for you. Number 1. Different time travel rules in separate universes. Avengers Endgame establishes that MCU's time travel works in a different way than what movies such as Terminator and Back to the Future suggest. Smart Hulk specifically mentioned that changing the past doesn't change the future. Instead, it creates an alternate branched reality originating from that timeline within the multiverse. Following Endgame's introduction of MCU's time travel and multiverse rules, Loki added more context to them, but making the Deadpool and X-Men movies canon to the MCU's multiverse breaks these aforementioned time travel rules by totally working against them. Movies including Deadpool 2 and X-Men Days of Future Past showed several instances of Deadpool and the X-Men changing the present and the past to alter the future. In the Days of Future Past, Logan's consciousness was set back in time to 1973 to stop the end of the mutants in the present day. His past efforts led to the future war against the mutated Sentinels being erased entirely. In the end, Logan woke up in a different future within the same timeline. Similarly, in Deadpool 2, Wade used Cable's time travel device to alter past events and bring people like Vanessa and Peter back to life in his timeline. Before that, when Deadpool stopped Russell from becoming a killer, viewers saw the burnt ashes on Cable's daughter's bear clear up on screen. It indicated the future had been altered and Cable's family survived. However, this phenomenon shouldn't have occurred according to MCU's time travel rules. If the events in Deadpool 2 and X-Men Days of Future Past are canon to the MCU's multiverse, then they should have created new branched timelines instead of bringing changes to Fox's Earth 10005 timeline. Since that didn't happen, it makes one wonder why time travel works differently on Earth 616 and on Earth 10005 if they're in the same multiverse.
Yeah, that's true. You can't change the past. It only makes a new timeline. The only way Earth 10005's rules on time travel would work differently than the time travel on Earth 616 is if the rules of physics between those two dimensions were also vastly different.
Alright. I think there's probably something in what Anaximander believed that supports different dimensions having different physics rules? I don't really remember. Let's look at number 2. X-Men and Deadpool timeline makes no sense. Well, Logan's efforts in 1973 altered the future and practically erased the events of X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men, X2, X-Men United, and X-Men The Last Stand. Earth 10005 was also changed to incorporate newer stories, including X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Dark Phoenix, which were set in 1983 and 1992 respectively. This changed reality featured James McAvoy's Professor X, Nicholas Holt's Beast, and Ty Sheridan's Cyclops, among other recast versions. Deadpool 2 is also set in the same reality as it featured a cameo from the recast of X-Men characters. Furthermore, McAvoy's Professor X and Holt's Beast had barely aged from X-Men First Class events, which happened in 1962, to Deadpool 2's events in 2018. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine takes place 6 years later in 2024. It also canonizes Logan in the same timeline as Earth 10005, and states that Wolverine had already sacrificed himself by this time, but it previously established that Logan took place in 2029, which was seemingly retconned in Deadpool and Wolverine. Otherwise, things wouldn't make sense, as the main Logan would have still been alive on Earth 10005 in 2024, and the arrival of the worst Wolverine variant to this Earth would have caused a potential incursion and become overall pointless.
Well, that's not really a time travel problem as much as it's a writing plot hole. I think the movie wanted to cram in as many Fox references as possible.
I get that. It was funny at times, but also overwhelming. As with a lot of superhero movies lately, you feel lost in the weeds if you haven't seen every single other movie made by the same studio, which may have been a point of note for the story overall. Deadpool is known for underhanded jabs at studios, and this seems to scream, see how annoying it is to have to pay attention to so many other movies? I mean, seriously. Number 3. I think this is the last one. Cable's device can hop universes? Deadpool and Wolverine shows Wade Wilson hopping to Earth 616 with Cable's device, which prompts the following question. Can Cable's device also be used for multiversal travel? Does this device work similarly to the Tony Stark's time-space GPS device or TVA's temp pad? How did Wade Wilson know about the multiverse and Earth 616 even before the TVA mentioned it to him? Deadpool and Wolverine doesn't answer these questions, leaving fans to speculate whether they were potential errors or have logical explanation. Because of this, perhaps this is where the audience has to contribute by not diving too deep into the inconsistencies of the MCU and Fox Marvel's time travel and multiverse rules. Deadpool and Wolverine acts as a celebration of Fox's Marvel movies while trying to stay consistent with MCU's pre-established rules as possible. So it might be best for fans to deploy a bit of suspension of disbelief, forgo its plot holes, and enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine as an exhilarating piece of entertainment where anything and everything is possible.
That just goes along with what you were just saying. Did you pre-read this?
I swear I didn't. Wow, that's, well, okay. I mean, yeah, we did overall like it, even the gratuitous irreverence and shoddy plot holes. You know, there's few ways you and Aiden kind of remind me of Deadpool and Wolverine. Remember the incident at the warehouse?
What? That was before you were even a thought.
Sure, but that sort of irreverent humor is key mark to Deadpool. Running through a horde of transdimensional variants while Like a Prayer is playing in the background could only be outdone by the Freebird scene from Kingsman.
I love some Kingsman, though. Manners maketh man is one hell of a mantra that a lot of modern guys could definitely benefit from gaining some perspective.
Modern men suck.
Let's save that for a hot take later on. And that's going to do it for us for now. I just want to say thank you again for 5,000 subs. Leave a like and a comment. Share this video with your friends if you liked the art or the commentary and want to hear more from Andrew in the future. And don't forget to ring my bell to get notified for every video that we put out.
Later, guys.
Art for this week was by Coconut Art on Fiverr. They simply go by Coco, and they're a digital freelance artist who likes to draw in anime and semi-realistic style. We hadn't worked with them in a while, but they delivered this artwork to us in record time, and wow, what detail. Especially the wings. I absolutely love them. I'll include a link down to their business in the description, so please, if you like this artwork, shoot Coconut a message today and commission them personally. Art for this channel wouldn't even be possible, however, without the help of our patrons. Monetization on YouTube is not enough to keep us going, so please follow the Patreon link down in the description to help Tales of Atonement keep going long term. We have a lot left to do and a big story to tell, and we simply can't do it without your help. Besides, there's a ton of extras only available on Patreon that won't be available for months on YouTube, if ever. Some of our great patrons include Pammy Poo, Shadow Fox, Arya Gamari, Charles Tam, Jace Moreland, and Lunder Lumen. Thank you all for watching and supporting our story.